So recently I've made a lot of videos about Colombian fruits and Colombian juices and smoothies and so on, but there's one more video I wanted to make that include amazing, delicious, exotic Colombian fruits. In this video, I promise I'm not turning into a cooking channel, but I wanted to do something a little interesting and something that you should try at home. Whether you can get these same fruits from Colombia or not, you could still apply them with fruits from your own country. But what we're going to do in this video is make white chocolate truffles using jams that I personally made from Colombian fruits. And today we're going to be making 4 different flavors of white chocolate truffles, including Maracuya, which is passion fruit, the fruit Lulo, which I featured in previous videos, Uchuvas or golden berries, and also Guava. Honestly, this is the first time I've ever made truffles using any of these flavors, so I'm really interested to see if they're going to turn out to be delicious or disastrous. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see some Colombians trying some of their favorite fruit flavors in a way they've never had them before. A very quick story before we begin. Back in 2018-2019, I was actually in the process of starting my own chocolate business here in Colombia. And then along came COVID and the pandemic and the lockdowns, and it kind of killed that idea, or at least paused it. Maybe someday I'll start a chocolate company, who knows? But I have a little experience making chocolate truffles. I'm not a chocolate expert by any means, so for the experts out there, please don't come at me. Let's have a little fun using some amazing, delicious Colombian fruits and combining them into truffles. I think you're going to love them. Ready to see how it's all done? Let's get started.
If you love this kind of video, please subscribe and come along with me on my future adventures.
Now, before we begin working with the chocolate, we need to make the flavorings, which will be fruit jams made out of 4 different Colombian fruits. Now, all I'm doing here is putting Uchuvas, just a tiny little bit of water at the bottom, and blending them up. Next, I'm just adding them into a pan, and we're going to simmer away this water. Just added some sugar, and we're going to stir that in. And we're just going to gently simmer this for a few minutes until it starts to thicken up, and most of that water will be evaporated.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Now it's starting to get to a really thick consistency, so most of the water has evaporated. So when you can see that not much steam is coming off it, it's nearly ready. It's kind of like a thick toffee syrup now. Next, we're going to repeat the exact same process, but with Lulo. Again, about 2 tablespoons of sugar, more or less. Now this is Lulo and sugar, and that's all. And again, we're just going to let all the water evaporate until it becomes thick, like a syrup. Now onto the maracuya, or the passion fruit. We're going to scoop the pulp from 2 maracuya into the frying pan and do exactly the same with a little sugar. We'll simmer it for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, the passion fruit one actually caramelizes and thickens up really quickly, so that's almost ready. Now this one I am putting through a sieve because I want to get rid of the seeds, because the seeds are a little crunchy and it wouldn't taste good in a chocolate truffle, which is nice and smooth and velvety. After all that, we end up with this tiny amount, but it is enough for the amount of chocolate truffles we're planning to make. And let me tell you, it tastes absolutely amazing. And finally, some guava. Let's get these on the stovetop. And here's our final one, which is the guava, which has been blended. This will be the last flavoring for the white chocolate truffles.
A few moments later.
The guava really darkens when it cooks. I never made this flavor of chocolate truffle with guava before, but I'm really intrigued how it's going to turn out. And that's all I've got of the guava paste. It doesn't look good, you know, it's lost its color. It tastes amazing. I filtered out all the seeds, but I can't imagine that the color of this chocolate truffle is going to be very good. It's all about the taste in the end, right? Let's see how it turns out.
The next day.
Now what I'm doing next is adding cream to a pan and gently simmering it until we can remove most of the water content that is in that cream. So basically we simmer it for a couple of minutes until it starts to thicken and you'll see less steam coming off it. And that's when you know that the cream is ready and you can add the chocolate to it. Over a low heat, of course, just gently stir the chocolate into the cream and you have a really delicious white chocolate ganache ready to add the fruit flavored jams to later on. Check the video description below because I've added the recipe for this white chocolate ganache, which is really simple. It's just cream and chocolate, but you need to know the right quantities, and that will vary depending on the quality of the chocolate and the cream that you can get in your area. So you might have to play around with the quantities just a little to get the consistency correct. Now what I'm doing next is just separating the ganache into more or less 4 equal portions, and then I'm going to mix the jams that I previously made together with the chocolate ganache. And now for the taste test. Interesting, but needs more uchuva. The Uchuvas is actually kind of mild in this, but you can get this slightly acidic aftertaste. I like it, but I think perhaps it needs more Uchuva, but not bad, not bad. Pretty good for the first truffle creation we've made. Now remember, I mix white chocolate ganache with passion fruit. Now I know these flavors work well together. Absolutely amazing, delicious, perfect. That's like a 10 out of 10 flavor. We also made the guava one, which ended up being a dark color. We're gonna mix that together for the taste test. I'm really surprised by that one. That one has kind of blown me away. Colombians love guava, and there's a very popular snack you can buy here called bocadillo, which is like a sweet guava paste, and it's sometimes served with cheese and sometimes with arequipe, which is like a thick kind of caramel. So it's kind of a mixture of sweet and salty, which isn't really for my palate, but Colombians love it. But this is absolutely amazing. I think Colombians are gonna love that when they do the taste testing. Now this last one I'm really excited about trying, because this is white chocolate and Lulo. Remember the acidic kind of orangey looking fruit? I think this one's going to be amazing. Let's find out. I'm going to put about that much. Taste test. Even better than I imagined. 10 out of 10. Absolutely delicious. I love it. That's probably one of my new favorite flavors of chocolate truffles I've ever made.
The next day.
So guys, we're up to the next stage of making truffles. There's a lot of steps in this process, which is why I don't make them very often anymore, but they are so delicious, so it is kind of worth it in the end. So what I'm going to be using today is this melon baller, but you don't have to use that. You could use a spoon as well. And this one is about the right temperature, and all I've done is scooped about that much, and all I'm doing is just rolling them into ball shapes, and this is going to take a little while. So starting with the Lulo, and then I'll move on to the others, and I'll get back to you when we're all done.
One eternity later.
Some of them turned out, I think, really well. These ones here, which I believe are the passion fruit and the guava, they are the right consistency, but the other ones are a little bit too soft, and that's because I've added a bit too much of the fruit jam to try to get the flavor more intense. Nevertheless, we'll figure it out. This is what it looks like so far. Okay, so now we're getting near the end of the process, and here I am just melting some white chocolate over a very low heat. If you don't have a double boiler, just hold the pan high up over the burner so you don't burn the chocolate. You don't want it to get too hot, and just slowly melt it. And then we're going to dip the ganache balls into the white chocolate and put them back on the tray, as I'm doing here. And we've nearly finished. Just one more step. Now the final step is just simply tidying up the appearance of them. So all I'm doing is just cutting off the chocolate around the base to make them look more round. Obviously these are not the most professional looking truffles because I don't have the machinery that many chocolate stores have to make truffles in a perfectly round shape. I'm just keeping them basic for this video because I'm just doing a taste test. I'm excited because we're nearly finished, and then we're going to go out and give them to some people in my neighborhood and let them try them and let me know what they think of these truffles. First up, a lovely staff member from a nearby pharmacy tries a maracuya or passion fruit flavored truffle.
Riquísima.
Really?
Tiene un sabor muy original al maracuyá, y el chocolate le enmascara el ácido del maracuyá. Muy bueno.
Oh, excelente.
Muy suave.
Sí.
Muy suave.
Yeah.
And then some random people in the street.
Uchuva.
This kind man suggested I start selling these truffles as he'd never tasted anything like them before. Next, I visited another store where I knew some of the awesome staff, and I knew that they would give me their honest opinions. And this guy on the left, by the way, is Anderson, who is from Venezuela, and I've interviewed him about his life story in a video before. I'll put the link in the video description below.
Wow.
And this is Andres, who I literally just met on the way to the store.
Uchuva.
Delicioso.
Sí?
Uf, rico.
Son muy suaves.
Muy
Son
suave.
excelente.
Muy rico.
And it seems they both love the truffles.
Uchuva?
So I guess my experiment was a success.
If you'd like to become a supporter of this channel so I can make more videos more often, please click the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description box below. Thanks a million for your support.